Next to a story that I'm sure is going to dominate over the coming days and weeks, that is Manchester United and Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, this time last summer, there was a huge buzz around Old Trafford as one of the club's greatest players returned for a second spell. Now, despite his success on the pitch, the team struggled, failed to qualify for Champions League football. He now wants to leave. United's stance is firm. He isn't for sale. Flex, you're our Man United man today. I can't quite believe we're sat here again talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. What a mess this seems to be, would you say?
It's turned into a little bit of a saga, isn't it? It's dividing some people in the fan base. Some people think we should battle to keep him. Some people think if he wants to leave, he has to go. Essentially, the way I see it personally is Cristiano Ronaldo, I think, wants to play at the highest level possible for the longest time. We know that. He's always done the best for himself in his career. That's why he's had the career that he's had. The problem is that Manchester United, coming into us when he did, doing what he did for us, if we was always going to end up in the Europa League or the Conference League, i.e. not in the Champions League, there was always going to be a sense that Ronaldo would want out. And I don't think you can blame him for doing that in the twilights of his career. Situation that leaves Manchester United in, and as we've been told, and what I've been told today, is that he is not for sale. And then it begs the question is, what type of Cristiano Ronaldo do you have if you keep him against his will? I was here in the studio with you guys about a year ago when I saw he packed his locker up and told Allegri that he was leaving. See you later, I'm gone. And it looks like, he hasn't been on the pre-season tour as well, so there's issues about that, and he's got to get himself up to speed. But it remains to be seen how this is going to play out. It seems like he's been offered to different clubs. There hasn't been any agreements found. Otherwise, I think that this would have moved a lot quicker. But one thing I can say, even being around Erik ten Hag on the tour and the things he's had to say about him, he is looking forward to working with Cristiano Ronaldo. He is part of his plans. Anthony Martial has been good in pre-season, but we all know sometimes we can't rely on him as well. But I just think from a Manchester United fan point of view, there's the emotional side of it. You want him to stay with us for our darkest times, our hardest times. You look at the moments he's given us, even last season at 37 years of age. We want him to stay and see it out. It would be amazing. But unfortunately, Ronaldo's got different plans. So.
One word answer, stay or go. What do you want?
I think if he wants to leave, go.
He left, didn't he, before the end of the game yesterday. We had the images here on Sky Sports News. United's view of that is that it wasn't particularly unusual for the player to leave before the end of the game. You mentioned the tour there. You were out with the United squad in Asia and Australia. What's your overall view of where Manchester United are at in terms of their window so far?
That's what I was going to say. There's two sides to it. One side of it is the morale and raising standards and setting the philosophy from the manager. And I think Erik ten Hag done that quite well over the course of the tour. There's definitely a different style of play. There's definitely more patience in our play, more deliberate build-up, and more calmness around the squad. But then when you go to signings, we're still short. We are still short, and I know we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth, but we still need a midfielder. We still need at least one more forward, in my opinion, and if Cristiano was to leave, that's another forward. There's situations going on at fullback. Yes, Diogo Dalot has done quite well under Erik ten Hag so far. It looks like Wan-Bissaka could be out of the fold. Ethan Laird's potentially going on loan as well, so we need to address that. So, but as it stands, what I've been told is Manchester United are happy with the business they've done so far, and there hopefully is more to come.
Okay. The problem really is that United fans want to sign players, but who's actually available? United want a sixth, but William Carvalho might be your best alternative. He's coming towards the end of his career. Do you really want William Carvalho at that stage in his career? So you want a proper midfielder then. You might have to wait. But United fans don't want to wait. It's kind of a bit of a back and forth, similar to the Ronaldo story. Ronaldo's a great signing for a year, but now we're at the point where United fans are kind of going, the nostalgia was brilliant, but now we kind of need to move on. But if he moves on, you need a striker. So there's a lot of problems,
Well, let's bring in Owen Churchill now from United View TV. Good morning to you, Owen. Thanks for joining us this morning. We were just talking about Cristiano Ronaldo there. What's your view of that situation?
Good morning. Yeah, it is a bit of, as Flex mentions, it's becoming a bit of a saga. Even when there was positivity surrounding us during the tour, it was the elephant always in the room. There was lots of questions from journalists asking what is the future surrounding Cristiano Ronaldo, and the line always was he wasn't for sale. But from Ronaldo's perspective, it is still that clearly he wants to leave the club. He wants to still compete at the highest level, despite United not being at the highest level. And I think you can understand that there is sympathy surrounding that when it comes to the Manchester United fan base, I think. But he is, if you believe reports, been offered to certain clubs and has been pushed back, rejected. And as the season gets closer and there's less time to bring in a replacement should he leave, my feeling is that I would hope that he would stay, and he can still offer goals. We saw what he can offer last season, but even yesterday you saw in the first half that there is always the drama surrounding him. So as time continues on, it's going to be fascinating to see how this one plays out. From what you saw yesterday, Owen, how far away is Ronaldo from his peak sharpness for the season, and does that mean that he may well start the season on the bench, and then does that prolong this saga going forward? I think he definitely starts on the bench in the beginning of the season. Martial's played more games, and not only has he played more games, he's played very well. He impressed. I mean, talk about another player that had 1 foot out the door prior to the pre-season tour and coming into the transfer window. That was Anthony Martial, and he's really turned a lot of heads in pre-season. He scored goals, got assists. His link-up play has been excellent. And Ronaldo yesterday did exactly what every other player during the pre-season has done for Manchester United. In their first game, he played 45 minutes. So clearly he's still way of having match sharpness. We know the condition that he is, even at this advanced stage in his career. So I don't suspect it would take a ton of time to get him match sharp, but clearly you could see it yesterday. He was still a little bit behind the play, and not only being match sharp is one thing, but also having a full pre-season, getting to know what Erik ten Hag wants from his strikers, expects from his players, getting to know the patterns of play, the style of play. That is still going to take time, especially when you haven't had a pre-season. So I would suspect for the first maybe 2 or 3 games, he would be on the bench. And as you mentioned, that leads to the increased speculation as to why is he on the bench, isn't he coming on? But, you know, he can still impact the game coming off the bench. He is still Cristiano Ronaldo, and I think that's where the dichotomy really comes from. It's, yes, there is a frustration that he wants away, but also there is a realization that even at 37, coming into 38 years of age, he still scores goals. He did it last season, and Manchester United are very light in attacking options, and we're going to need those goals this season.
Mark Nubaid, how do we think this is going to end? Come to you first, Mark.
I think, yeah, it's funny because I sat here about 3.5 weeks ago with Carve and we went through the list of potential options because the message we were getting that Ronaldo wanted to play Champions League football. There are 26 teams that have qualified for the Champions League at this stage, and we've ruled out about 23 of them, and over the course of the last 3.5 weeks we've ruled out 26 of them. So the only way I can see this ending is Ronaldo will leave, and he'll have to take a huge pay cut to play for the club that he desires, and I think that's what will end up happening.
I think he stays. There's nowhere for him to go, and also the later it gets in the window, United don't have a replacement, and I think it'd be ridiculous for United to let go of him without having time to buy someone else.
Well, let's take a look at some of United's signings so far in this window. They have supported Erik ten Hag in this transfer window so far. Owen, we can see some of the deals there. Alessandro Martinez, the latest to come in. What's more needed in your view?
Still to coming this window, again, I think we need strength in depth up front. Jadon Sancho missed the last 2 games of pre-season through illness, and just his absence alone, you realised how short we were, especially in those wider areas. Anthony Elanga came in. He came through the team last season, but I think there might be still questions about his quality at the highest level. We saw Alejandro Garnacho play yesterday. He's a young developing talent. You've got Tae Chong, who possibly could go out on loan again. So we're light there in attacking options, and that's why I think we've been linked to your Anthony's at Ajax and your wide players, these attacking players, irrespective of what's been happening with Cristiano Ronaldo. In addition to that, the Frankie de Jong saga that's been ongoing Manchester United this summer. Clearly, Erik ten Hag wants a 6. He wants that deep line playmaker to connect from a player like Alessandro Martinez, who can bring the ball out of defence, give it to de Jong, carry it up the pitch, pass in between the lines. That's what we need. And just in general, I think we need a lot more strength in depth. We lost a lot of players over the summer for free transfers, and there is still, with this long season ahead, with the World Cup, with a lot of congestion in the fixture list, we're going to need more players, so particularly in the attacking areas and in that 6 as well.
Owen, great to speak to you this morning. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you very much.